In the heart of Paris, near a bustling tourist spot, an unusual scene unfolded. A naked woman emerged from the crowd, waddling nonchalantly among stunned onlookers. Gasps of surprise rippled through the air as everyone's attention locked onto her. Unbeknownst to them, this bizarre spectacle was a carefully orchestrated distraction. Lurking in the shadows was Michael, a master pickpocket, whose fingers moved faster than the eye could see. Using the chaos created by the woman, he swooped through the crowd, swiping wallets, cell phones, and anything else of value. The woman, it turned out, was his accomplice, paid €300 to be the center of attention while Michael went to work. His loot in hand, Michael sold the stolen goods to a fencer named Baba, walking away with €900 for his efforts. Elsewhere in Paris, the stakes were far more sinister. Jean, a cold and calculating man, handed his girlfriend Zoe a doll with a hidden bomb inside. Zoe, nervous and doubtful, hesitated as Jean coldly assured her it was necessary. Donning a blonde wig, Zoe reluctantly infiltrated a building to plant the explosive. But her resolve faltered when she encountered a cleaning crew inside. The thought of innocent lives being lost weighed on her conscience. Desperate to abort the mission, she called Jean. "Jean, there are people inside. I can't do this," she pleaded. But Jean, devoid of empathy, barked orders to continue. Zoe, trembling with fear, made a decision. Defying Jean, she vowed to toss the bomb into the river. However, Jean wasn't alone. With him were Rafi, the ruthless leader of their group, and Christophe, their silent but menacing ally. The three men grew increasingly agitated, their plans unraveling before their eyes. Meanwhile, Michael, sipping a drink across the street, spotted Zoe removing her wig and holding a bag. To him, it was a potential goldmine. Timing his move perfectly, he snatched the bag when Zoe wasn't looking. He hurried to inspect his haul, only to find an old-fashioned telephone and a doll inside. Confused, Michael's curiosity got the better of him when the phone rang. Hesitating, he answered it. Jean's sharp voice came through, demanding to know Zoe's status. Realizing the bag held something dangerous, Michael abruptly hung up and discarded it on the sidewalk. Moments later, a deafening explosion ripped through the air. The bomb, though not detonated at its intended target, caused widespread panic, leaving Michael dazed and thrown to the ground. The terrorist group, led by Rafi, seized the moment to escalate their threats. Rafi issued a chilling warning to the French government. This is just the beginning. In 36 hours, Paris will fall to its knees. The city was in chaos, and journalists swarmed Victor, the head of French intelligence, for answers. Victor, determined yet cautious, assured the public, "We will catch those responsible." The Bastille Day parade will proceed as planned. As investigators combed through surveillance footage, they spotted Michael's face on a security camera near the explosion. His image was quickly flagged and sent to the CIA and Interpol. At the CIA's Paris headquarters, Special Agent Sean Breyer was briefed on the bombing. Known for his reckless but effective methods, Sean had recently been reprimanded by his superiors, Tom and Karen, for taking unnecessary risks. Despite their warnings, Sean was now tasked with finding and capturing Michael discreetly. The intel revealed Michael's troubled past. Born in Las Vegas to a casino-owning father and a realtor mother, he was once a promising student with dreams of college. But his father's gambling debts plunged the family into ruin, forcing Michael to drop out of school. He turned to a life of crime, traveling across countries and committing fraud to survive, eventually landing in France. Investigators discovered that Michael had called his mother twice in the last 18 months from the same payphone. This gave Sean a lead, Michael's apartment near the phone. By now, Michael sensed he was being hunted. As Sean closed in on his apartment, Michael climbed onto the roof to escape. A tense chase ensued, with Sean hot on his heels. Michael's agility gave him the upper hand, but Sean was relentless. Spotting a parked bike, Michael attempted to flee, but Sean tackled him, sending both men tumbling to the ground. Michael was finally in custody. During interrogation, Sean pressed him hard, demanding answers about the bombing and his alleged involvement with the terrorist group. Shaken, Michael insisted he wasn't part of any organization. He confessed to stealing the bag from a woman in a blonde wig, thinking it contained valuables. He described the bag's contents, the doll and the phone, and how he had overheard the woman's name, Zoe. Skeptical at first, Sean decided to test Michael's claims. He challenges him to pickpocket his wallet. With astonishing skill, Michael not only swiped the wallet, but also removed the cash and placed the wallet back in Sean's pocket, all without him noticing. Impressed but cautious, Sean instructed Michael to sit back down. But Michael wasn't done yet. As he sat, he spotted a knife and quietly slipped it into his pocket, his mind racing with plans for escape. Zoe sat trembling at Jean's house, her mind spiraling with fear and guilt. She believed the lives of 4 people were on her conscience, and the weight of that thought consumed her. Meanwhile, Rafi and Jean were in a different storm of confusion, wondering about the boy who had stolen their bag. The tension in the air was suffocating. Then came the twist. Rafi and his men, armed and determined, were en route to Jean's house to kill Zoe. Sensing the impending danger, Jean acted swiftly. He ordered Zoe to flee, and she did, just moments before Rafi barged in. The house was empty of their target, but Rafi had a plan. Using technology to trace Zoe's phone signal, they believed they had her cornered. What they didn't realize was that the phone wasn't with Zoe, but instead with Sean and Michael. To avoid suspicion, Rafi disguised himself as a mailman. Sean, sensing something was amiss, armed himself. Meanwhile, Michael, who had been tied up, managed to free himself and stealthily escaped. When the confrontation erupted, Sean fought valiantly, but Rafi and his men managed to escape, not without leaving Sean bruised. Furious and determined, Sean reported the incident to Tom. However, Tom's cold directive was clear. Capture Michael, no questions asked. But Sean wasn't one to blindly follow orders. He suspected there was a sinister plot at play, something far larger than Michael. Sean decided to hunt for Zoe, believing she held the answers to unravel this dark conspiracy. At the police headquarters, Victor was introduced to the commander of France's special police force, Rapid. That commander was none other than Rafi. As the introductions concluded, a report came in. There was a terrorist threat at an Arabian immigrant settlement. Rafi and his Rapid squad were dispatched immediately. Upon arriving, the squad stormed the settlement in a brutal raid. Unbeknownst to the public, this was a setup. One of Rafi's men secretly planted a bomb, framing the innocent immigrants. The false narrative spread like wildfire, branding them as terrorists. With the settlement raided and its people arrested, Michael became the primary fugitive on their radar. Elsewhere, Michael, desperate and out of options, sought refuge with Baba, an old acquaintance. Baba seemed to offer a safe haven, taking Michael to his apartment on the top floor. But when Michael wasn't looking, Baba's family vanished. It was a betrayal. Baba had sold Michael out to the authorities in exchange for a promise of citizenship for his family. Realizing this, Michael panicked. Every door was locked. Outside, Rafi and his Rapid team surrounded the building. Trapped, Michael found a crack in the wall. Using every ounce of his strength, he created an opening and hid, biding his time. When the moment was right, he fled. But his escape wasn't unnoticed. A sniper was stationed on the rooftop, ready to take him out. At the last second, Sean appeared, saving Michael and thwarting the sniper's deadly aim. Zoe, meanwhile, found temporary safety with her friends at their base. But peace was fleeting. By afternoon, Sean and Michael tracked her location. Zoe's friends tried to put up a fight, but were quickly subdued. However, chaos erupted as others set Sean's car ablaze, taking Zoe and fleeing. Sean, undeterred, hijacked a passerby's car and gave chase, but the group had already vanished. Acting on a hunch, Sean found one of Zoe's friends at work. Michael was sent in to retrieve the ID card of Zoe's friend, and with his deft pickpocketing skills, in a series of bizarre events which might look like future prediction, he put a man's phone in another guy's pocket. When the man realizes he has lost his phone, he called his phone and it rang in the pocket of that guy, leading to an argument. The bartender or Zoe's friend went forward to solve the argument, but in the process he spilled a drink on a lady sitting nearby, resulting in her boyfriend getting offended, giving Michael the distraction to steal his wallet. The address on the ID card led them straight to Zoe. Cornered, Zoe finally broke. Sean pressured her, knowing she wasn't a terrorist but merely a pawn. Zoe revealed the truth. Her boyfriend, Jean, had manipulated her into delivering the bomb. They headed to Jean's apartment, but on the way, they crossed paths with Rafi. Luck was on their side, and they managed to escape. At the apartment, a horrific sight awaited them. Jean's lifeless body hanging from the ceiling. Zoe was shattered. Sean examined the scene and uncovered a tattoo on Jean's arm, marking him as a captain of Rapid. The revelation was shocking. Jean and Rafi, both disguised as protectors of justice, were the masterminds behind the chaos. Sean wasted no time and reported this to Tom. He explained that Rafi and his Rapid squad were corrupt, orchestrating the bombings and framing Arab immigrants. But Tom was hesitant, arguing that this was beyond the CIA's jurisdiction. The case was to be handed over to France's intelligence. As the truth unraveled, the world outside was on fire. Massive anti-fascist demonstrations erupted after news of an unprovoked attack on Arab immigrants in a mosque. Online movements gained momentum, rallying countless supporters. The tension escalated further when a video surfaced, showing police officers torturing Arab demonstrators. The video, however, was another one of Rafi's manipulative ploys to incite chaos. Sean, Michael, and Zoe now stood at the heart of a conspiracy. Zoe recounted her story of being forced to deliver the bomb, intended as a statement against fascism. She aborted the mission upon realizing there were people in the building, but her involvement had already drawn her into the web of deceit. The trio pieced together the puzzle. Rapid wasn't just corrupt, they were the very perpetrators of the bombing and the orchestrators of a calculated smear campaign against Arab immigrants. The final blow came when Sean and his team learned that Victor, the Minister of Internal Affairs, was to be informed. Zoe and Michael were to be handed over. The next day, Karen confronted Victor with a shocking revelation. The real mastermind behind the bombing incident wasn't the Arab immigrants as the public was led to believe, but an undercover police conspiracy. Karen exposed a terrifying truth, a terrorist plot deeply embedded within the police itself. She even handed Victor documents and names of witnesses who could corroborate her claims. But as she divulged the location of Sean, Zoe, and Michael, Victor's expression turned cold. Without hesitation, he pulled out a gun and shot Karen. Victor, it turned out, was the real puppet master of the chaos. The bombing, the slander against Arab immigrants, and the orchestrated protests were all his doing, a calculated plan to push the city into disarray. The online demonstrations were part of his grand scheme to intensify tensions, setting the stage for an audacious move. Calmly, Victor contacted Rafi, his right-hand man, and ordered the capture and execution of Sean, Zoe, and Michael in a secluded location. Soon after, Rafi's men arrived to pick up the trio. But as Zoe climbed into the vehicle, a chilling realization struck her. One of the men was the same assassin who had tried to kill her earlier. Sean, too, noticed a familiar tattoo identical to Jean's. Without warning, Sean attacked, unleashing chaos within the car. Meanwhile, Victor used the growing protests as cover, mobilizing his special task force, Rapid, to secure the National Bank of France, claiming it was under threat from the demonstrators. Sean, now fully aware of Victor's involvement, reached out to Tom, desperate to expose the truth. He revealed that Karen had been murdered and that Victor was behind everything. But Tom, hesitant to believe such accusations against the head of France's intelligence, dismissed Sean's claims. Frustrated, Sean decided to take matters into his own hands. Disguised as a police officer, Sean infiltrated the heavily guarded National Bank, taking out guards silently as he advanced. Inside, Victor's men had already disabled all alarms and surveillance, ensuring their operation would remain undetected. Rafi and Christoph made their way into the gold reserve, but their true target wasn't the gold. It was 500 million euros in digital currency, which they began transferring onto a flash drive. Sean's cover was eventually blown, and Rafi ordered his men to surround and kill him. Cornered and outnumbered, Sean fought back fiercely, holding his ground. Zoe and Michael, determined not to leave him behind, instigated a riot outside, using the chaos to breach the bank's barricades. They arrived just in time, rescuing Sean from certain death. The chase intensified as Sean pursued Rafi to the top floor, where the flash drive transfer had just been completed. Sean confronted Rafi, but before he could act, a flashbang detonated, temporarily blinding him. In the ensuing chaos, a deadly gunfight broke out. Sean, thinking quickly, planted a grenade inside a box and hurled it toward Rafi and Christoph. The explosion separated the two, trapping Rafi in another room. Sean seized the opportunity to engage Christoph in a brutal fight, ultimately killing him. With Christoph dead, Rafi remained the last obstacle. Victor called Rafi, demanding he abort the mission. But Rafi, clutching the flash drive, refused, threatening to expose Victor if he were caught. Meanwhile, Sean devised a plan to retrieve the flash drive. Using his skill, Michael slipped past Rafi unnoticed and stole the drive. When Rafi realized it was missing, he spiraled into desperation, taking Zoe hostage and threatening to kill her unless the flash drive was returned. At this critical moment, Victor, fearing his name would be dragged into the scandal, ordered his own men to kill Rafi, labeling him a corrupt officer. Within moments, a hail of bullets ended Rafi's life. Amid the chaos, Michael escaped with the flash drive, ensuring the digital fortune remained out of Victor's hands. In the aftermath, Victor publicly received accolades for uncovering the corrupt syndicate within the police force, all while secretly working to reclaim the flash drive. Using his connections, Victor approached Baba, a local informant, to spread word that a buyer was willing to pay a high price for the drive. Hearing this, Michael arranged to meet the supposed buyer, unaware it was Victor himself. The meeting was tense. Victor offered Michael $100,000 and a forged passport in exchange for the flash drive. Michael agreed but had no intention of trusting Victor. After handing over the drive, Michael was escorted to a basement under the pretense of sealing the deal, only to discover Victor's true plan, to eliminate him and erase all loose ends. But Michael was ready. He had partnered with Sean and the police to set a trap for Victor. Just as Victor prepared to execute Michael, the authorities stormed in, catching Victor off guard. Faced with overwhelming evidence and a room full of witnesses, Victor was finally arrested, marking the end of his elaborate scheme. In the closing moments, Sean, Zoe, and Michael walked free, while Victor's dark ambitions crumbled under the weight of justice. Chaos, conspiracies, and a fight for justice. Bastille Day takes you on a roller coaster of twists and action. Did Victor's plan blow your mind? Or did Sean's fearless takedown steal the show? Let us know your favorite moment in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Movies Unboxed.